On a December evening in 2004, armed men walked into the homes of two ordinary bank workers in Belfast and took their families hostage. They didn't want the men to hand over a wallet or a car or a safe combination. They wanted them to go to work the next morning as if nothing was wrong, and then help empty the vault of the bank they worked for. By the following night, £26.5 million had walked out of the Northern Bank in holdalls and cages, the largest bank robbery in the history of the United Kingdom and Ireland. No one has ever been convicted of taking it. This is how they did it, and why it was never solved. The robbery worked because of a method the police call a tiger kidnapping. You don't break into the vault, you take control of the person who can open it by threatening the people they love. The gang had done their homework. They had identified two men who between them could get deep inside the Northern Bank's cash handling operation, watched their homes and learned their routines. Two families in two different places, chosen because together they were a key to the vault. On the Sunday evening, the gang moved on both houses at once. At one home, they arrived in the uniforms of police officers, so the door opened without a fight. Within minutes, both families were under armed guard, and the two men had been given the same terrible instruction: do exactly as you are told, or your family will not be safe. That night was designed to break any thought of resistance. The families were held separately, watched by armed men, while the two workers were told precisely what would happen the next day. To prove they were serious, the gang took one of the wives away from her home entirely, moving her to a second location as a living guarantee. The message to both men was identical and simple: we are always watching, we are always one phone call away, and your families stay with us until the job is done. So the next morning, the two men got up, said nothing to anyone, and went to work, carrying the weight of their families' lives and a plan that would empty one of Northern Ireland's biggest banks from the inside. From the outside, it was an ordinary Monday at the bank. Inside, the two men were doing something extraordinary, quietly moving huge quantities of cash toward a single exit, exactly as they had been ordered. During the day, one of them managed to smuggle out a first, smaller amount of money, almost a test run, and hand it to the gang without raising an alarm. When nothing went wrong, the real operation began. After the bank closed, a van pulled up and the cash came out, box after box, holdall after holdall, an estimated £26.5 million loaded into the dark in a matter of minutes. Only when the money was gone were the families finally released, shaken but alive. The gang and the cash had vanished. The sheer size of the haul created a problem the robbers may not have expected. Most of the money was in Northern Bank's own banknotes, notes the bank itself printed and controlled. So the bank did something drastic. In the weeks that followed, it recalled and reissued its entire banknote range, printing millions of new notes in a different color and design, and cancelling the old ones. Overnight, a large part of the stolen fortune became paper that no shop would take. It was an extraordinary admission of how much had been lost, an entire currency redesigned to try to strangle the value of a single robbery. But it also told the world the truth. The money was out there and no one knew where. Suspicion fell almost immediately on one group. Northern Ireland's police, and later an independent monitoring body, publicly blamed the Provisional IRA, arguing that only a large, disciplined organization could plan and absorb a robbery on this scale. The timing made it explosive. It came in the middle of delicate negotiations over Northern Ireland's future, and the accusation threw the whole peace process into crisis. The IRA flatly denied any involvement. Investigations rippled outward for years. There were arrests, money laundering inquiries, and sums of cash recovered here and there on both sides of the border. But almost no one was ever convicted in connection with the robbery itself, and the one bank worker charged in the case was cleared. 2 decades on, the Northern Bank robbery is still officially unsolved. The great majority of the £26.5 million was never recovered. No one has been convicted of planning it, carrying it out, or ordering it. What's left is a nearly perfect crime built not on drills or explosives, but on a single, chilling idea: that the fastest way into a vault is through the people who love the person holding the key. 2 families spent one night as hostages, and a bank lost a fortune it could never fully get back. It remains the biggest bank robbery these islands have ever seen, and one of the most mysterious. If you want to see how the next impossible robbery comes together, subscribe to Masterplan, a new heist, escape, or con rebuilt in cinematic 3D every week.